Well, that was dumb.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tech Jimmy. Today we're taking the legendary Honda XR650L into one of the trickiest terrains out there, sand. If you've ever struggled to keep your bike upright in the deep stuff or wondered how to improve your sand riding skills on the Big Red Pig, this is the video for you. I'll be breaking down the techniques that'll help you stay in control, sharing my experience with the Tusk D-Sport tires in sandy conditions, and giving you a few pro tips to make your next ride smoother. So gear up, let's hit the trails.
All right, let's take a look at what we're going to be riding, first of all. It's super deep, super sugary sugar sand. These sand roads, they can be tough, but when you get used to it and you know how to ride them, it's really not that bad. So let's talk about it. I've got my tires down to 13 pounds, so they flatten out and spread out on top of the sand. That really helps a lot, especially the front tire. You'd be surprised what kind of difference 1 PSI will make. So try it. Try different pressures with your bike. See what you like. Also, I'm not running rim locks yet at 13 pounds, and I'm getting pretty aggressive, so still not mad at it. And I know a lot of you don't like this, and we're going to talk about it anyway. I have 10 PSI of pressure in my front forks. Specs say 0 to 6. That's not a bleed. You put pressure in there. 0 to 6 is what we're supposed to be using. I'm using 10. It's really not going to do any damage. It's not going to blow out your seals. That's not what's holding the pressure in. That's not what's holding the fluid pressure in either. That's not a fork seal's job. What that pressure is doing is just adding a little bit of initial stiffening to the forks. So your forks might be a little too harsh if you put too much pressure in. The pressure's just gonna bleed off anyway. Back to sand roads. You gotta treat this like a boat. Get your bike up on plane. Get in the throttle. First gear's not gonna cut it, at least second gear. So if your bike can do it, take off in second gear. Just dump the clutch and get up there. You want to kind of ride the front tire around through the curves. If your front tire is going to make it, let the back bounce wherever it wants. It'll follow you. Trust me, it's bolted to your handlebar. Secondly, when it's time to turn, don't be scared. It's just like flat road. Stick that handlebar down to the side. The bike will turn, I promise. And lay into the throttle. As much power as you think you're going to need, all of that sand is just like water on a boat. It's dragging down your momentum. So when you get in the deep sand, you need a lot more power to overcome it and then keep the speed that you want to stay on top of the sand. All right, enough BS. Let's leave my mic on and go take a ride down a really sandy trail and talk about it. Ready? Let's go. I've got it moving fast enough to where I stay on top, especially these whoops. You got to keep in the power so you know you stay on top where you want to be. Rely on your tires to flatten out and carry you through the sand. I'm trying to touch the top of each next consecutive whoop from the first one, so I don't dip into it like this. This takes so much more of your momentum away. Let's get back up on top. Stay in the throttle. Never really let out. Back off, but don't dump out of it. It'll suck all your momentum away in a heartbeat. Okay, check that out. Busy talking to you guys. I wasn't paying attention to the tree in the trail.
This episode is proudly sponsored by No Toil Oil and Filters. Whether you're riding on the track or tearing up the trails, No Toil's biodegradable oils and high-performance two-stage foam filters make maintenance a breeze while protecting your engine better than the competition. Ride cleaner, stronger, and greener with No Toil. Check them out at notoil.com and experience the no-compromise solution for riders everywhere.
Alright, back up on plane, let's go. Second gear, third gear. There we go. Just like a boat. Get it bouncing up off the top of the whoops like they're waves. Yeah. Just like that. That's how you ride sand. All right. You ready to see what happens if we don't do it like that? Let's take off in first gear. My idle's a little low. We're going to take off in first gear and just kind of putter through this sand. Watch how hard it is compared to what we just did. Bike is all over the place. I'm doing my best just to stay with where the front tire wants to go. It's good balance practice if nothing else. But this is a terrible way to try to ride. The more scared you are of the sand, the more it will punish you. So now look, right while we're in this same deep stuff, I'm going to upshift to second gear and snap the clutch to bring the bike up on top of the sand. Here we go. We're at third gear, and now we're skipping the whoops again. It's a turn, but don't let out. Same deal, don't let off the throttle. More whoops. Try to catch the top of each whoop from the one you just passed. You want to keep your head forward. If you look down and you can't see the number plate, you're making mistakes. There you go, you can see my shadow. Look, this is where you want to be. Up over top of the front of the bike, right like this. You'll feel it when you're in the center of gravity. You're kind of like a little gyroscope and you want to stay there. No matter if the bike goes to the left, back to the right, and then left again, you're staying in the middle like a nice gyroscope and keeping this bike working.
All right, that wraps up our guide on how to ride the Honda XR650L in sand. Whether you're tackling deep sandy dunes or sand trails, the key is keeping that front tire light, staying loose, and staying over the front of the bike. Let the bike do its work. It's all about finding the balance between throttle control and body position. And don't get discouraged. If it takes a little time to master, just put that time in. It's worth it. If you're running a Tusk D-Sport tire like I am, remember that these conditions are a real test. Sand riding isn't really its strong suit, but it holds its own in mixed terrain. I'll keep putting it through its paces and share my updates with you in future videos, so stay tuned for that. Now, I want to hear from you. What are your go-to tips for sand riding? Maybe you've got some recommendations for the XR650L. Maybe you don't like your forks at 10 psi. Drop a comment down below. Let's get the conversation going. And as always, if you're enjoying my content, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you get notified every time that I post new content. It could be dirt bike adventures, it could be gear reviews. There's a lot more coming, so stay tuned. Thanks for riding along. And until next time, keep the throttle steady and the rubber side down. Catch you in the next video.